Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been like 11 months since I uploaded, but life has been hectic for the last year. But I'm going to get back into uploading now, and I'm going to start with this brand new Unearthed Arcana that you can see on the screen here. So Unearthed Arcana are coming back, giant options, and from what I can tell at a quick glance, it's basically a load of, I think it might be 3 subclasses and a feat or 2 regarding or related to giants and giant kin. I've done a Storm King's Thunder campaign review on this channel. If you want to check that out, I'll have the link up here somewhere for you to look at. But let's dive into this new Unearthed Arcana. So this is all just blah blah blah, playtest blah blah blah. Feats. Okay, it's first subclass, Barbarian, Path of the Giant. Barbarians who walk the path of the giant draw strength from the primal forces that are the giants and their elemental ilk. Their rages surge with elemental power and cause these barbarians to grow in size, transforming them into avatars of primordial might. During the rage, a barbarian may take after a legendary storm giant, hair turning white and eyes crackling with lightning. Others adopt the monstrous features of apocalyptic titans, rending the world around them so it may be made anew. So at level 3, when you take this subclass, you get the following. When you choose this path, you learn to speak, read and write giant or one other language of your choice if you already know giant. Additionally, you learn either the Druid craft or thaumaturgy cantrip. Your choice. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for this spell. Now that's interesting because typically they've been kind of going away from making things specifically tied to one stat. So I'm curious as to why they've brought that back here. I would have thought that you could choose wisdom, intelligence or charisma, but it says specifically wisdom, so we'll see how that plays out. The next ability is Giant Havoc, which you also get at level 3. Your rages pull strength from the primal might of the giants, transforming you into hulking force of destruction. While raging, you gain the following benefits. Crushing Hurl. When you make a successful ranged attack with a thrown weapon using strength, you can add your rage damage bonus to the attack's damage roll. Okay, that's a really good feature, because that's always been a problem for barbarians, is that they're more or less forced to be melee fighters, and so it's kind of cool to see that you can now maybe like focus on using spears. That's kind of cool. Or javelins. The javelin's always used by a barbarian as I have to throw something, so that's pretty solid. And then the next one is Giant Stature. Your reach increases by 5 feet, and if you're smaller than large, you become large, along with anything you are wearing. If there isn't enough room for you to become large, your size doesn't change. Okay, that's interesting, because there's a lot of things that can... a lot of balancing issues with making a player a large creature. So when large creatures attack, typically they do an additional damage die. So if you're hitting someone with, say, a short sword, it'd be 1d6, but if you are large, it would be 2d6. And so I don't know if the damage goes up with this or not, and I feel like that would be something that needs to be clarified, that the damage does or doesn't go up, because typically you avoid having large player class, like large player races, because they kind of break the game. So that is something I feel needs clear. But if it does, the damage does go up. I mean, it is only while you're raging, so that can be dropped pretty quickly. It's a pretty solid feature, I'm not going to lie. Okay, next one is Elemental Cleaver, which you get at 6th level. Your bond with the elemental might of giants and their ilk grows, and you learn to infuse weapons with primordial energy. When you enter a range, you can infuse one weapon of your choice that you are holding at one of the following damage types: acid, cold, fire, thunder, or lightning. When you wield the infused weapon during your rage, the weapon's damage type changes to the chosen type, and it deals an extra 1d6 of the chosen type when it hits, and gains the thrown property with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. If you throw the weapon, it reappears in your hand the instant after it hits or misses a target. The infused weapon's benefits are suppressed while a creature other than you wields it. While raging and holding the infused weapon, you can bonus action to change the infused weapon's current damage type to a different one from the above damage types. You basically get Mjolnir. You become 4. Like, that's actually such an amazing thing that they're basically, from what I'm gathering so far, the whole point of this subclass is that they're orientating that a barbarian can be a ranged fighter as opposed to a melee one. And I really like that. I know 20 feet isn't a lot, but you could just stand there throwing like mauls and do an additional damage from 20 feet away. And then you throw it, you miss, it's right back in your hand. Oh, it's exactly like Mjolnir Thor, and I'm all for it. Mighty Impel, 10th level ability. Your connection to Giant Strength now allows you to hurl both allies and enemies on the battlefield. As a bonus action while raging, you can choose one medium or smaller creature within your reach and move it to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself. An unwilling creature must succeed on a strength saving throw, which is, it's 8 plus proficiency plus strength to avoid the effect. If at the end of this movement the thrown creature isn't on a surface or liquid that can support it, the creature falls, taking damage as normal and landing prone. That's pretty cool. Toss the dwarf. Toss the halfling. I like that. That's fun. That's just a fun, flavorful ability. I really do like that. And then the last one is, Jesus Christ, Demiurgic Colossus. Jesus Christ. 14th level ability. The primordial power of your rage intensifies when you rage. Your reach is now increased by 10 feet. Your size increases to huge, and you can now use your mighty impel to move creatures that are large or smaller. In addition, the extra damage dealt by your elemental cleaver feature increases to 2d6. Jesus, you basically become a giant. That's what this ability is. You become a giant. Oh damn, this seems like a really fun class to play. It doesn't necessarily seem like, outside of combat, it's more or less, it's completely useless. But that, I mean, most barbarian classes are, but that seems like a very fun subclass, I'm not going to lie. We'll move briskly on though to the Druid Circle of Primeval. The Circle of the Primeval teaches that though the land may change over time, it never truly forgets. By tapping into the time-worn memory of the earth, these druids summon a bond with the spirit of a primeval behemoth, a hulking creature that once ruled the ancient world alongside the giants. The most well-known primeval behemoths are the dinosaurs, but their spirits bonded with the members of the Circle of the Primeval have also taken the form of ancient predecessors to today's common beasts and other fantastical titanic creatures. Working alongside their companion spirit, most druids of the Circle of the Primeval spend their lives delving into long-forgotten places and preserving the remnants of bygone eras. As the druid's power grows, so does their companion, the beast, starting near equal in size to its druid partner before increasing in stature until it too towers over the land. Okay, so it's going to be a druid subclass that gives you a companion, as you can see here. We can see the Primeval companion. We're going to find out what he does now in a sec. So, second level feature, your connection to the mighty primeval behemoths allows you new insight into the ancient world. You gain proficiency in history when you make an intelligence or history check. You can roll d4 and add that number to the roll. Okay, that's not too bad. Kind of a flavorful thing, but nothing overtly powerful. This is the part that'll be interesting. The Primeval companion. Starting when you choose this circle, you call upon the primeval creature whose spirit is bound to you. As an action, you can spend one of your wild shape features to summon your companion, rather than assuming a beast form. The companion appears in an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you. The companion is friendly to you and your companions, and it obeys your commands. See this creature's game statistics stat in the Primeval cast stat block, so it's a stat block there, that's all that's saying. You can determine the cosmetic appearance of the companion. For example, your companion may evoke ancient predators like raptors or saber-toothed tigers, or it might be more inclined for defense, appearing as an armored ankylosaurus or a woolly rhino. These choices have no effect on the companion's game statistics. In combat, the companion shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but can only take action. The only action it can take on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. Okay, that action can be one from its stat block, or if you're incapacitated, the companion can take any action of its choice and not just dodge. Oh! Okay, so basic stuff. If you don't tell it what to do, it always just takes the dodge action, so you gotta use a bonus action every turn to tell it to do something. However, if you are incapacitated, the companion can take any action of its choice and not just dodge, so it kind of becomes a free-willing creature, which makes sense. I really like that. That's actually a little solid line here, this last one. There, I really do like that. The companion remains until it reduces to 0 hit points, or until you die, at which point the companion vanishes. If you use this feature to summon the companion again, and you already have a companion present, the first companion immediately vanishes. Yeah, anything the companion was wearing or carrying is left behind when the companion vanishes. So it seems like it just stays around until it dies, but you use a wild shape charge to bring it. So let's see what it's got. 13 plus proficiency bonus, so solid. I assume that's your proficiency bonus, so when you first get it, it'll be 15 AC, which is solid and gradually goes up. Hit points 10 plus 5 times your druid level. Companion has a number of hit dice, d10s equal to your druid level. Okay, that's a good chunk of HP for it. Speed is fine, 30. Dex and con are saving throws. Dark vision, understands the languages you speak, and its proficiency bonus is equal to yours. Its stats are nothing exceptional. Its melee is 1d8 depending, and you can choose the damage type, and has a reaction, which is when a creature the companion you can see hits a target with an attack and the target is within 5 feet of the companion, the target instead takes half damage and the companion takes the remainder damage. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it can be a little bit tanky at the same time. That's cool. Prehistoric Conduit, 6th level ability for this subclass. You learn how to channel your magic through your Primeval companion. When you cast a spell with a range other than self, the spell can originate from your companion. Okay, that's really good. In addition, the companion is affected by a spell that you cast that allows creatures to make a saving throw against it. Effects, the companion has advantage on the saving throw. Also, if you're like, for example, drop a fireball, the companion would get advantage on that saving throw to avoid taking it. And if the companion would normally take half damage on a successful save, the companion takes no damage on a successful save and half damage with no additional effects on a failed save. Okay, so that's really, really good. Obviously, because if you're trying to be a supportive druid from the back, but you've got your companion being a little bit more aggressive, you don't need to worry about potentially just blowing it up, which is really good. Titanic Bond, 10th level ability. The companion grows to a large size, and when you summon it, you can grant it either a climbing speed or a swimming speed equal to its walking speed. Okay, so it becomes adaptable. That's good. In turn, the companion lends you some of its terrifying might once per turn. While your companion is summoned, when you hit a creature with an attack or deal damage to a creature you can see with the spell you cast, you can force a creature to make a wisdom save. On a failed save, the creature is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Okay, solid little secondary ability. This top part's pretty good though, giving it a swimming or climbing speed. Scourge of the Ancients, the 14th level druid ability. You have learned to fully harness the titanic legacy of your companion as part of a bonus action you use to command your companion. You can expend a spell slot of any level to heighten your companion's might, gaining the following abilities. Hulking Behemoth, the companion becomes huge, gains temporary hit points equal to 10 times the level of the spell slot expanded. If there isn't enough room for the companion to become huge, it attains the maximum possible size in the space available. Okay, so it just becomes lot tankier essentially there. Mauler, on a hit, the companion's strike deals an additional damage equal to 1d8 plus the level of the spell slot expanded. Okay, so more damage, not too bad. And Titanic Stride, the companion's speed increases by a feat equal to 5 times the level spent. Okay, these benefits last for 1 hour until the companion vanishes, or until you expend a spell slot for this feature again. So a druid with a best friend. I actually really like the sound of that. I feel like that should have been something that druids could have maybe focused on before, and I feel like the ranger kind of took that with the beastmaster, but I really do like this. I mean, you're going to be running around on a velociraptor or a tyrannosaurus rex eventually. I think that's really awesome. It's almost like a Digimon or a Pokemon that just evolves as you evolve, and I really, really like that. Once again, another solid class coming out of this. Not quite closely related to giants, a little bit more elemental in, I feel, its connection, but still really, really cool. So the next subclass is the Wizard Runecrafter. Runecrafter wizards enhance their spellcasting through the ancient power of runes. Though the tradition originated with the giant runecasters of old, runecraft magic has expanded to encompass countless languages and practitioners across different worlds. For many runecrafters, the runes they wield are as every bit unique and personal as their spellbook. Some strive to honour the practice's origins among the giants, engraving their runes on decorative stones that adorn their spellcasting implements, while others messily scribble their runes on scraps of paper. So the first thing you get when you take this subclass is the Runes of Understanding, 2nd level ability. Your study of the Runecraft has unlocked the ability to decode runes and languages regardless of their origin. You always have comprehend languages prepared. You can cast it without expending a spell slot, and the spell doesn't count against the number of spells you have prepared. Great little feature, really useful for wizards who I feel kind of all the classes could really focus on languages, so that's a really solid ability for this subclass. The next one is Runic Empowerment. When you choose this subclass, you learn how to amplify your magic through the application of various runes. Your knowledge of these runes is stored in your spellbook, though you determine the rune's cosmetic appearance. For example, your runes could be engraved into the cover of your spellbook, glowing whenever you cast a spell, or you could work the shape and meaning of the runes directly into the spell's somatic and verbal components. When you cast a spell using a spell slot, you can invoke one of the following runes, so they must just be here. The Life rune, you invoke this rune, you choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You can choose yourself. The chosen creature gains temporary hit points equal to 5 times the level of the spell slot expanded. Pretty solid, gives a little bit of temporary healing. No one can really complain about that. The War rune, when you invoke this rune, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you until the end of your next turn. Attack rolls that target the chosen creature gain a bonus equal to half the level of the spell slot expended, rounded up, minimum of +1. Okay, so that's pretty solid, kind of helping. Very supportive type of rune there. Both of these so far have been. And then the Wind rune, you invoke this rune, your speed increases by a number of feet equal to 5 times the level of the spell slot expended, and your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. These benefits last until the start of your turn. Oh, that is very solid. I heard a dog sneeze. That's a very solid ability. It's a bit frustrating that it's only on yourself, that you can't have that target another one, because that'd be pretty solid to give to like a tank or a rogue or a monk. But what can you do? You can evoke no more than 1 rune per spell. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish longer. Basic stuff. Now, the 6th level ability, Sigils of Warding. You can call on a rune of protection to guard yourself against threats. When you fail a strength or dexterity or constitution saving throw, you can use your reaction to expend one of your runic empowerment and succeed on the saving throw. Oh, okay, so it just uses the same charges that your runic empowerment would, but you can choose to succeed on one of those saving throws. That's a really good ability. I really like that one. That one's very good. Rune Maven, 10th level ability. When you understand, your understanding of Runecraft has grown immensely. Whenever you use your arcane recovery feature, you also regain a number of expended uses of runic empowerment. The number of uses you regain can be no more than half your intelligence modifier rounded up. Really good. Once again, just general upkeep, that one is. And the last ability for the wizard subclass is Engraved Enmity. 14th level, you mastered the art of wielding your runes directly against your foes. As a bonus action, you can target one creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself. The creature must succeed in a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or be magically marked by an enmity rune. The enmity rune appears as a faintly glowing mote of energy that hovers over the marked creature, which suffers the following effects. Runecraft's Bane, the creature's disadvantage on saving throws against spells you cast. Unveiled Enemy, the radiance of the glowing rune marks the creature's visible if it's invisible, and the creature can't become invisible while the rune persists. Okay. Woeful Curse, when you mark the creature and as a bonus action on subsequent turns for the duration, you can invoke the enmity rune to curse the creature until the start of your next turn. The next time one of your allies hits the cursed creature with an attack roll, the target will takes an extra 1d8 force damage and the curse ends. The enmity rune lasts for 1 minute or until you lose your concentration, as if you're concentrating on a spell. Once you have marked a creature in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to use this feature again. I like that. I really like using spell slots and your proficiency bonus as resources other than their basic uses. I really like these 3 subclasses. I felt they were all unique. There's the only one that felt like that was something else was the Druid one, very similar to the Beastmaster in my opinion, but it seems even cooler in some ways. But I really like the Runic and the Path of the Giants. The next section of this is Feats, and so there seems to be a number of feats, quite a number of feats. But don't worry, I will go through all of them right now. So, there is, geez, I don't know how many is there. What's that? 10 feats with what looks to be about, there's, yeah, 10 feats, I think, with 7 having prerequisites. So, you know, you can't just dive straight into them. So let's just go through them. So the Elemental Touch, no prerequisite for this one. You've been exposed to primordial magic of the elemental planes, granting you a measure of control over the natural world around you. You learn either the Druid craft or thaumaturgy cantrip using intelligence, wisdom, or curse and spellcasting ability. See, now that's different immediately from what the Barbarian had, but that's the way I think it should be. Whenever you finish long rest, you can choose which element you are attuned to: air, earth, fire, or water. Long ago. I wonder if anyone will get that reference. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Depending on your choice, you can choose a bonus action to cause one of the following effects. Air, you gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed until the end of your next turn. If you are airborne at the end of your turn after using this movement and aren't held aloft by other means, you fall. Okay. Earth, you cause the ground within 30 feet of you to become difficult terrain for 1 minute until you create the effect again. During that time, you can move across the ground that is difficult terrain without spending extra movement. That's pretty solid. Fire, you surround yourself in a cloud of ash and smoke until the end of your turn. Your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Okay. And then the last one is water. You can create a forceful surge of water directed at a creature within 15 feet of you. You can see the creature must succeed a strength saving throw against your spellcasting ability modifier, or be pushed up to 10 feet away. The water vanishes immediately after the creature succeeds or fails. You can create this effect a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Immediately, the water one just seems the weakest because all you're doing is pushing someone. The other three seem pretty solid. Flight, always extremely powerful. Earth, difficult terrain can be quite a pain for a DM to deal with. And the fire, that would just be so good for like a rogue or a monk. No opportunity attacks. I personally think they're all very good. The next one has a prerequisite of 8th level. Called Ember of the Fire Giant. You've manifested the fiery combat emblematic of the fire giants, granting you the following benefits. Born of Flame, you get resistance to fire. Searing Ignition. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with a magical burst of flame. Each creature of your choice within 15 feet of you that you can see must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes fire damage equal to 2d6 plus your proficiency modifier and is blinded until the start of your next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and no additional effects. You can use your Searing Ignition a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish long. That's really powerful. Really powerful, because it just says each creature within 15 feet of you of your choice, so you can just avoid hitting your allies and you can just hit all the enemies, and that's really good for crowd control. Or if you're dealing with a horde and they're blinded if they fail, that's really powerful. Really, really powerful. The next one is the Fury of the Frost Giant with a prerequisite of 4th level. You've manifested the Icy Emblematic of the Frost Giants, granting you the following benefits. Born of Ice, resistance to cold damage. Frigid Vengeance. When a creature hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to retaliate with a burst of magical ire. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you until the start of your next turn. You can use your reaction in this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Okay, a little bit, I mean, it's only 4th level prerequisite. A bit weaker than the Fire Giant one, but still kind of cool. Just the reaction to make someone frightened of you is always very, very useful. Guile of the Cloud Giant, prerequisite 8th level. You've manifested the airy speech and magic emblematic of the Cloud Giants, granting you the following benefits. Misty Form. You can cast a blur spell without using a spell slot or material components. When you cast a spell in this way, the spell doesn't require you to maintain concentration on it. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast this spell in the normal way using spell slots if you have the appropriate level, and you can choose whichever one you want for this feature. And then Silver Tongue, you gain proficiency in either Deception or Persuasion skill. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make using this skill. Pretty solid. Again, that blur part is the most powerful of that, without a doubt. So next one is the Stone Giant one, which is the Keenness of the Stone Giant, prerequisite 4th level. So it's going to be a little bit weaker than the Fire and the Cloud, but should be on par to the Frost Giant one. You've manifested protection, a spellcasting emblematic Stone Giants, granting you the following Benefits. Dreamer's Magic. You learn the Detect Thoughts spell and one first level spell of your choice. First level spell must be from Abjuration or the Divination School of Magic. You cast each of these spells without spending a spell slot. Once you cast either of these spells in this way, you can't cast it again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast these spells using spell slots if you have them. Mounted Sight. You gain Dark Vision out to a range of 60 feet. If you already have Dark Vision from another source, its range increases to 30 feet. Okay, so pretty solid, but you can get... Detect Thoughts is a fun spell, but you can also get another solid first level spell there. Abjuration, I think Shield might be Abjuration, so it's that'd actually be a pretty solid spell to get out of that. Nonetheless, 4 solid feats there based on 4 different giant types. Outsized Might. You've absorbed Primeval magic that allows you, despite your relatively small stature, to embody the might of titanic creatures. This grants you the following benefits. Little but mighty. You gain proficiency in either athletics or acrobatics. Fantastic. Powerful build. You count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity. Always really good. And Stalwart. You have advantage on saving throws against being moved or knocked prone. Just kind of general quality of life stuff there. Just handy things if they show up, but not the best feat in my opinion. It's a little bit weaker, if I'm being honest. It seems like it's a type of feat that a DM might give out as a reward as opposed to forcing a player to take it. I feel like that would be the best way to do that. It seems a bit weaker than the feats we've seen so far, but nonetheless. The Runecarver Apprentice. You've begun studying the art of runecraft, which allows you to temporarily mark your items and imbue them with magic. When you finish a long rest, you can mark one non-magical weapon, armor, piece of clothing, or other object you can touch with a rune of your choice. You choose as specified in the rune spells table, and you know the spell until you finish a long rest, when the rune fades. So here's all the spells. False Life, Fog Cloud, Ray of Sickness, Chromatic Orb, Bane, Burning Hands, Bless, Armor of Agathis, Goodberry, Longstrider, Command, Guiding Bolt, and Cure Wounds. Good selection of spells. Jump, Shield, Sanctuary, Thunderwave, Heroism, and Featherfall. Great selection of spells. While you're wearing or carrying the rune-marked object, you can cast a chosen spell associated with the rune once without using a spell slot or material component. And you can also cast a spell using any spell slots you have. And you can use Intelligence, Wisdom, because that's great. So you just get essentially access to that entire spell list. So that seems like something that might be very handy for someone who's not a full caster, maybe like a paladin or ranger, or even, I don't know, like an Eldritch Knight or trickster rogue. They'd all be very good for that one, if you ask me. Just give them extra spells. Runecarver Adept. So the prerequisite for this is that you need this feat, which is your skill with the art of runecraft has increased. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can now mark a number of objects equal to your proficiency bonus with a rune from the Runecarver Apprentice feat. An object can only have one rune at a time, and you must inscribe a different rune on each object. So it just essentially gives you extra uses. So at 4th level that become, you can mark 2 items. At or 5th level, should say. No, yeah. 4th level you get 2. So 5th then I'll go up to 3. 9 up to 4, etc, etc. Soul of the Storm Giant prerequisite 8th level. So I'm assuming this is going to match the previous ones we've seen. So you got the Maelstrom aura. As a bonus action, you surround yourself in an aura of magical wind and lightning that extends 10 feet from you in every direction, but not through total cover. The aura lasts 1 minute or until you are incapacitated. While the aura is active, attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and whenever a creature starts its turn within this sphere, you can force the creature's speed to be halved until the start of its next turn. Once you use this bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Once you use this bonus action. Okay, yeah, that's solid. That's really good. I mean, disadvantage on all attacks against you. Stupidly powerful. Storm's Oracle. You cast the divination spell as a ritual without needing material components. You can use Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma for this. Once you cast a spell this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. That is extremely powerful as well, much like the other 2 8th level prerequisite ones. Ridiculous feat. So powerful. I can see why it's locked at 8th level. And then the last one, but not least, Vigor of the Hill Giant. So it's going to be much similar to the other ones, but just for Hill Giants. Bulwark. When you are subjected to an effect that would move you at least 5 feet or knock you prone, you can use your reaction to steady yourself. You are then neither moved nor knocked prone. That's solid. Hearty Health. When you're subject to a spell that restores your hit points, you regain additional hit points equal to your con modifier. You can regain these additional hit points a number of times equal to proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish longest. That Hearty Health's a pretty solid ability. Overall, I really like these feats. The only one I felt that was probably the weakest, the Vigor of the Hill Giant, that health thing really saves it, but this outsized might, it just seemed rather weak, and like I said before, it seemed like it'd be better off as a reward to a player as opposed to forcing them to use one of their 4th level ASIs on that feat. The Elemental Touch, all the giant ones seemed really good, but this Elemental Touched one, I felt water was just weaker, like ridiculously weaker than the other 3, so that's what it is. The Wizard seems like great. I love the idea of a rune-based spellcaster, so I really liked the Wizard. The Druid getting basically a dinosaur as a companion is amazing. I really like that. I love the idea of classes with companions. I always feel they get bad rep because of Beastmaster, so it's nice to see that they're trying to make them stronger through subclasses like this. And then probably the thing I loved most is Path of the Giant. That just sounds amazing. You're a barbarian who gradually just starts to become a giant when you rage, and I absolutely love it. But what I would love more is to know what your thoughts are on this Unearthed Arcana. You're going to try any of the classes? You're going to try any of the feats? Let me know in the comments section below. Please do, because I'm really curious to see what other people think about this. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It means a lot and means more people will see these videos and hopefully get to enjoy them. And guys, and please hit that subscriber button. It would mean the world to me, and I'll catch you all in the next video, guys.